We discovered a few days ago one of the most important problem that we have that keeps us from living the life that we truly want. And it is that we feel the emotion of guilt. I myself thought guilt is not something that I have. I'm not really struggling with guilt. That's probably more for other people. I know it's a negative emotion that can be destructive, but I don't have it. But it turns out guilt is anything that you put the word should in front.
Or shouldn't.
Or shouldn't. And it clicked for me because I realized, oh my gosh, there's so many things that I tell myself that I should be or I shouldn't be. Shouldn't do, I should do this, or I should have.
Yeah, I should meditate, do breath work in the morning,
Exactly.
cold showers, run, exercise, eat a really cool protein-based breakfast, and then I should be nice all day, whole people, and I have
Should
to
be always
work
positive.
hard, especially I should work hard, and I should save for retirement, I should be everything, you know, it's so much shoulds.
Tony Robbins says, you should all over yourself, right?
Mhm.
So it's something so crucial and important that we look at, because if you have any of these thoughts, that means you have guilt in your life. If you have guilt in your life, it's such a low frequency emotion that it's keeping you from living your truth, from living your highest potential. So we have to look at it and recognize it as guilt.
Mhm.
So it is something that we can work through and let go of.
Mhm. And the guilt emotion is very much and very often stored in our first three centers, energy centers, which is like connected to guilt the most, like the first sin, you know, the sexual sin, like be a sinner and having all these animalistic needs, and digestion is a big one, people having a lot of IBS problems and digestive issues.
A lot of the diseases in a human's body are based on guilt.
Yes.
That's the source, and when we can let go of that guilt,
Mhm.
people can miraculously heal.
Because what guilt is doing is, the guilt is kind of innocent, right? But what we are taught is that we have to punish for our guilt, for punish ourselves or be punished by somebody. When we are little kids and growing up, we are having our brain in low brainwave states, which means that we are very suggestible to information without analyzing what comes in and what comes doesn't matter for us. Everything is like as it is.
Everything is seen as the truth, basically, and is directly programmed into your
It's like
brain.
this, you know, some child is being smacked whole life, and they think it's normal, you know. Some child is having a, you know, only mother or only father, and they think it's normal. That's their life, you know. They don't know anything else, and it's just taking in the information, the brain, and you put it in your field, and this way you're programmed for the rest of your life. You know, your first few years of your life program your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fair, and we have to change that. And the guilt seeks for punishment everywhere. You know, bad boy, bad girl, you touched this, you did this, you shouldn't do this. You know how you are talking to your kids, or how you were talked to when you were small. You were just having a lot of these no-nos and bad girl, bad boy, and we are not doing this, and you shouldn't have done that, you know, and be nice and say sorry and these things. In this age, in this time, in the planet Earth, we are having much better skills than our parents had. And what I was doing is that I was making my mother feel guilty for some things in life. And then I understand that I was hard on myself, and I was self-punishing myself for my mistakes, which I did 15 years ago or 10 years ago or whenever, because I didn't have information which I have now on the fingertips. I just type it in YouTube or in the Google, and I have immediately shower of information. But in the past, our parents didn't have these skills. They didn't know they have to talk to us differently, and they have to, you know, anything. And now they can be guilty, feeling guilty for how they raised us, and because they just passed on their programming fully, and now you are here and you want to pass it on to your kids differently, but you're doing the same thing because it creates the same energy, because you are anyways making yourself feel guilty that you don't communicate as you should, and so on and so on. And we are in a vicious cycle, so we have to leave self-punishment, and the guilt is gonna leave because it's not having anything to do in your body when you are not punishing yourself, or somebody else is not punishing, or you don't search for it. And also, if something bad happens to you regarding your health, or about your finances or relationships, you could say, I deserved it,
Or you ask, why me? What did I do wrong so I deserve
why
it?
me? Yeah.
And the disease is often just a form of punishment that we give to ourselves because we feel so guilty in our life that we didn't do the right things, didn't make the right choices. So now we deserve it. We have to have this disease because we were guilty.
We didn't listen to our bodies, that's why we deserve it. We were eating too much sugar, that's why we deserve some blood sugar problems and stuff like that. And it's all guilt, and it's all basically supporting the problem. So if you are saying, okay, I love myself, I know I did mistakes in the past, but I'm evolving soul, I am evolving all the time, and everything can be changed.
The key is to recognize our innocence and also other people's innocence. If you look at a dog who is doing something that they shouldn't do, the dog was alone at home all day, has a lot of energy, wants to play, wants to do something, wants to run, and he rips apart a pillow. It is his pure innocence. He didn't do it with a mean spirit. It's just his innocence, and you can't be mad at him for longer than 10 seconds, because you look at the dog and you see the innocence. And we are all human beings, we are all having this innocence within us. And we can recognize, okay, I always felt that I should be working harder.
Everybody is working harder because they are feeling guilty.
Because that's the motivation.
That's
but that's
the
not a
motivation.
good motivation.
No.
It would be much better motivation when we say, hey, because I care about the people at my work, because I care about the customers of our company, I want to do a really good job. Not I want to do a good job just so I'll not lose it. So I'll not be guilty that the boss will say, hey, you didn't do a good job. But we are often motivated by guilt.
I heard Arnold Schwarzenegger saying that more than 80% of people in America hate their job. And I think that they hate their job because they are doing it out of guilt. They are just performing out of... And I understand.
I have to pay my bills.
And I absolutely relate with this, because when I have to be super honest with me, I was overperforming. I was an A-type worker. And you know what? I was absolutely falling apart, being extremely, extremely emotional when I did something wrong. Because I felt so much guilt, so that I did something really bad, and it didn't happen very often, but when it happened I couldn't just sleep and so on, because I felt so guilty. I didn't know that it's guilt. I thought I did a mistake, and
exactly.
I would be happier if somebody came to me and punched me in the face. Oh, you did something wrong, here is a punch. And it would be solved for me.
It would be solved. It would be because you're working yourself up to this guilt, and there should be punishment. You look around, punishment comes, okay, it's done.
In a past like this. And I created a lot of challenges in my life just because I was doing stuff because I felt guilty. So much. And I inherited from, of course, my parents, which were feeling, my mother, for example, oh, let's stop to this friend, we don't even like her, but let's just go there. We should. And I'm like, Mom, why do you do this when you are not supposed to do this? We do this. And
as a little child, right?
You
were Petra has such a cute innocence in her child, and she still has it all the time. She just couldn't understand why, if you don't like to do something, why you just don't do it? Or you were
I
you were
know.
supposed to hug a person which was stinky, and you just told the person is stinky, and your parents said you shouldn't say that, you know.
And then I started to feel guilty.
And it's your innocence. You
So-
don't know.
so-
A child just sees another child and says, "You're fat."
Yeah,
It's
and that's
innocent.
it. That's done.
Yeah.
But we are making big deal about it. But when I was supposed to hug somebody who was stinky and I didn't want it, I said, "You're stinky. I'm not going to hug you."
Mm-hmm.
That was done for me. I didn't have any emotional tug there.
Yeah.
But then after my parents explained to me it's bad and I'm actually bad and that person is hurt, instead of that person should go to shower, then I felt so bad, and since that I was like really confused. I didn't know what can I say where, you know, and we are all lost in life about
That's
this.
exactly the point when the innocent child starts to be confused.
Mm-hmm.
When you are just living your truth and you're just cute and innocent, and all of a sudden you're being taught what's wrong, how can you function in a world when you still have to look out for making a mistake, being guilty, and being punished for your sins?
Then you imagine you know that you are supposed to be punished because you did something wrong, and you search for it everywhere and nobody gives it to you, and you know that always after guilty emotion comes self-destructive, self-punishing emotion, or the program. So if nobody does it for you, who does it for you? You do it for you. I do it for me. Raphael does it for him. And then we are all people who are beating ourselves up all
What
day,
the
every day.
heck?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What the heck? What are we doing?
That's why we always want to be right in situations. We want to be right because we don't want to be wrong. Because when you are wrong, you're guilty. And when you're guilty, you want to be punished.
And you feel stressed, you feel pressured constantly because you know you should do certain things which maybe are really not aligned with you, or they're really hard for you. And you know you can't do it, but you still know you should, so you're just constantly gonna punish yourself and be stressed and tense and uptight, and it can cause disease.
And it then causes also bad relationships because I had so stripped my borderlines around me that I allowed my previous partner to be abusive to me. You know, I was really living, and because I had this energy, it even endorsed his energy of this abusement, and I had really, really tough time in a relationship because I didn't have any borders around me. Because if you say, "Hey, I'm not doing this," or I say no and I'm fine with it, then that's all okay, you know, it's all okay. But when you say no and you feel super guilty and you're just eating yourself from inside with the guilt and with self-punishment, it's not good, and person is confused. Then you can't live your purpose. You can't be yourself. And is it worthy to live this life in this state? It's absolutely not worthy. You're just serving to program of guilt.
We don't truly live, we don't live our highest expression, we don't live our truth, we just live out that program which we have. And just imagine also how easy it will become for you to forgive somebody when you can see their innocence for making a mistake. When you know your parents didn't really mean-spiritedly try to hurt you or try to F you up in life, but you can see their innocence, that they were also dealing with something, that they were just taking over the program which they got from their parents and they gave it over to you. Even though I think most parents say, "I want to do a better job at parenting than my parents did."
And keep things which you loved from parents, like creating a beautiful, harmonious atmosphere and so on. Yeah, but also bring it up and have it exposed to all of you. Hey, this is guilt. This is actually guilt. Bring it up like Simba in Lion's King. You know, this is guilt. Let's watch her or him, the guilt, and let's not make this guilt punish us, and let's not punish ourselves for anything, because then it's not fun in life. Absolutely. And we are teaching it to our kids, and then, you know, they will always be guilty, and It's very low energy, and we can vibrate much more higher.
Mm-hmm.
We can be much more healthier and more abundant, but we are not, because we don't see the possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we start to be bored and we have beautiful surroundings around us, beautiful trees and forests, what else to do than to feel guilty? For example, other people don't have it, you know. That was my teenage problems all the time. When I was teenager, I was extremely sad about suffering animals. I was extremely sad about people who can harm each other. I was really a wise child, and I was very much digging into World War II, and I absolutely didn't understand why people could do to something else to other people, you know, like these
Because
bad
it's the
things.
innocence with you. That's the true you.
Yeah, it's true. All of us are innocent in a sense. And if I want to forgive to somebody or let go to somebody, I heard somebody inspiring, and they said, in 100 years, will it matter? Will it matter?
Mm-mm.
You know, if you let go of, for example, somebody insulted you in front of somebody because they wanted you be guiltier than them. It happened to me at work so much. And now I understand that those people who are creating guilt in other people's bodies and fields, and who are still intentionally trying to call it out, the guilt, those people carry the biggest guilt.
Mhm.
Those people need forgiveness because those people are suffering so much. For them is life super heavy
Mhm.
because they are constantly just walking and making people feel guilty, and it's in them, inside of them, and it needs to go out, and they are satisfied that other people are then responding and they are on the same level, but it's not gonna heal the guilt inside, you know.
The one part is to recognize the innocence within you and within others, and the other part is to not use guilt anymore as a motivation to do things, but instead use love. Just because we want the greatest good for people around us and for ourselves, we do things out of love. We don't eat the chocolate because we love ourselves, or we do a good job because we love and respect the people around us that will benefit from that.
Because when we go back to that dog ripping the pillow, our body is really trying to somebody be like that dog, and it wants to tell us something, and it's usually, hey, you don't listen to us, you don't listen to me. Your body talks to you, you don't listen to me, you have to see what I want now. You want to go to the bathroom and you are not going because it's not appropriate or whatever, you know. And then the body is just having its moment with you and does whatever it needs because it wants you to listen a lot.
Mhm.
And if you are going to listen gently and softly, you will never have to deal with any problems like that with health and other things. It will always lead you. Your body is your body. So it's very important to not punish yourself, because it's basically mind punishing the mind, right? But in between is a body which is getting all the flow
The
of
hits.
all the hits, exactly.
Mhm. It's the target.
So now you're a much better buddy with your body.
Yeah,
And
and if you want to be even better buddy with your body, subscribe to this channel. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up so other people that can discover it as well. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us.
Thank you.
We're abandoning her. We have to go buy her some meat. And she's very sad. Looney.
She wants to go with us.
She's not used to being on the leash.
She has to be, so she's protected, but a lot of range, you know, of motion.
Yeah.
She has
Luna.
water and she got food and she has her grandfather there.
But you totally see her sadness.
Oh my gosh.
Her disappointment.
Oh,
Luna.
oh.